Lady Justice might be blind, but she isn't swift. She can sometimes be slow. Here are 5 people who couldn't wait and took the law into their own hands.
Gather round, all you seekers of the night. Welcome to Patrick's Dark Corner.
Number 5. Bernard Goetz. In 1984, New York City subways were a mess. Muggings, robbery, crimes against women, and gang violence were all commonplace. In the early afternoon of December 22, 1984, 4 men from the Bronx, who had all been previously convicted of crimes, boarded the subway. It was later discovered that they were out to rob an arcade in Manhattan. The 4 men approached Bernard Goetz, a nerdy computer engineer, and asked him how he was doing, and then started demanding $5 and signaling to each other. That is when Goetz opened fire on his would-be attackers. He wounded all his attackers and said to one, "You seem to be doing all right. Here's another." All of them survived, but one was left paralyzed with brain damage, leaving him with the mind of a small child. Goetz was dubbed the subway vigilante by the media, and many New Yorkers considered him a hero.
By shooting these guys.
Sure, they tried to mug him.
I think he was, protecting himself. This is around the Christmas holiday. You got to look out for yourself.
I think it was justified, and after all, he was at 4 against 1.
Prosecutors took Goetz to court, but a jury acquitted him of all the crimes related to the shooting, finding him guilty only of small gun charges. Goetz spent 6 months in jail. In 1996, the mother of the paralyzed attacker won a $43 million civil judgment against Goetz. To this day, she hasn't seen any of the money. Today, Bernard Goetz is 72 years old. He lives in the same apartment he did at the time of the shooting. He's an activist for New York's squirrel population and for Mary Jane. Legalization. Number 4. Pedro Rodriguez Filo. Pedro Rodriguez, also known as Pedro Matador, or the real-life Dexter, is a Brazilian serial killer who killed over 100 people, mostly criminals who had wronged him or people he felt deserved to die. In 1984, Pedro killed the town mayor for firing his dad, a school guard accused of stealing from the school's kitchen. Pedro then killed the security guard, who he believed was the real thief. Pedro then fled to São Paulo, where he began robbing drug dealers and killing traffickers. In São Paulo, he met a woman named Maria, who he fell in love with and began living with, and even got her pregnant. But Maria was killed by a rival gang member. Pedro tortured and killed several people in an attempt to figure out who was responsible for Maria's death. Pedro then brutally killed his own father with 21 machete wounds in retaliation for his father killing his mother. He then ripped out his father's heart, chewed on it, and spit it out. This was all before Pedro was even 18. Pedro was arrested in 1973. The police put him in the same car as a rapist. Once Pedro found out that the man was a rapist, he stabbed him to death. Pedro spent most of his adult years in prison, where he wounded and killed countless criminals in order to survive. One time, Pedro attacked 5 prisoners, killing 3 of them and chasing the other 2 away. Pedro has since been released from prison, and in 2018 he started a YouTube channel, Pedro X Matador, where he gives advice to young people trying to steer them away from a life of crime. On March 5th, 2023, Pedro's vigilante acts finally caught up to him. He was shot to death by 2 men firing from a car in Mogi das Cruzes, who then fled in another car. No suspects have been arrested. Number 3, Jack Ruby. November 22, 1963, at 12:30 p.m., beloved 35th President John F. Kennedy was shot while riding in a parade in Dallas by former Marine Lee Harvey Oswald. Oswald was charged with killing Kennedy, but he denied the charges, claiming he was a patsy or scapegoat. 2 days later, as Oswald was being transferred to the county jail, Dallas nightclub owner Jack Ruby popped out from a group of reporters and shot and killed Oswald on live TV. Jack Ruby claimed he was temporarily insane when he shot Oswald, but a jury found him guilty and sentenced him to death. The conviction was overturned because Ruby could not have gotten a fair trial in Dallas. Sadly, Jack Ruby died of cancer in jail before his new trial could get started. Number 2, anonymous British woman. One night in November of 2015, predator John Holmes hid behind walls, waiting for a lone woman to attack after a day of drinking. Shortly after midnight, a young woman walked past. Holmes grabbed her and pulled her into the bushes. He said, "You're gonna enjoy this," then forced his tongue in the woman's mouth. The woman bit down on his tongue and punched him in the stomach, face, and neck. The woman then began to cut Holmes's neck and throat with her keys. 2 passerbys came to help as Holmes fled. He was shortly caught, though, and as you can see from his mugshot, he clearly messed with the wrong lady. The woman told the court, "I believed without a doubt this man was going to rape me. My life would have been over. He might as well have killed me right there." Holmes was sentenced to 4 months in jail, and his 21-year-old would-be victim was given an award for her bravery by South Yorkshire Police. Number 1, Kenneth Faulkner. On March 5, 2015 in Tennessee, Thomas Williams, 67, was sentenced to just 3 years of supervised probation for soliciting 2 little girls, ages 4 and 7. The girls' dad, Kenneth Faulkner, age 30, was not happy with the light sentence. Faulkner saw Williams on the street. Williams winked and smiled at the father, further angering him. Faulkner then went to Thomas Williams' house. Faulkner recounted, "He opened the door and came outside, and I asked him, 'Why did you do it to my children?' And all he could say was he didn't know. I kicked his butt." According to police reports, the angry dad punched Williams in the face and slung him down the stairs. While on the ground, Williams claimed Faulkner continued to punch him in the face and in various other places. He estimated the total number of times he was punched to be 10 or more. The community regarded the angry dad as a hero. Faulkner said he received a lot of support on social media. All right, thanks so much for watching. I will see you very soon. Bye.
In the darkness, where secrets hide, there's a corner where the truth resides. Gather round, all you seekers of the night. Welcome to Patrick's Dark Corner, where things come to light. Patrick's Dark Corner, uncovering